name's Russ Wilson. I'm here to talk to you about Hermosa Coffee Roasters. I'm here to ask you for money, of course. We're looking for $10,000 to get this company started. So I want to tell you a little bit about why we're asking for the money and what the $10,000 will be used for our startup costs. But first I want to give you a little bit of an idea of the mission of Hermosa Coffee Roasters and the animating philosophy behind what we're trying to do. Really the way I talk about Hermosa Coffee Roasters is as a three-pronged concept, so to speak. The first concept that informs our mission is the idea of local. We want our consumers and we want our customers to first think locally and in terms of shopping for their goods and services, and that goes, of course, without saying for Hermosa Coffee Roasters as well. We'd like our customers to buy their coffee locally here in the South Bay, in Los Angeles. The concept of local, though, isn't just about Los Angeles or Hermosa Beach in particular in Los Angeles, but can be applied wherever you are. So, for example, the concept of local also applies to the people who supply us with our beans for roasting the coffee for you, our consumers. In other words, we want local to be the concept that people think about in support of what they're doing now and how to support the producers of the coffee themselves down in Central America, South America, in Africa, Indonesia, and Asia, etc. The second concept really that informs our mission is sustainability. And the way sustainability comes in there is from an economic point of view. Would we think and act locally and have that local action translate into supporting our own local companies, but also supporting those companies that we're doing business with as well. Again, in particular, the farmers themselves, the coffee farmers, who we're going to be dealing directly with in terms of what some companies called farm gate pricing or direct trade pricing. Those prices tend to be a lot better for those farmers than the prices they get through cooperatives or the other traditional business arrangements down in Central America and South America and Africa in particular, where beans are just bundled from a region and the prices to the farmer is actually fairly low. But also from an ecological point of view, sustainability is a key issue. When we deal directly with farmers like this, we are supporting smaller coffee estates, smaller coffee farms than the massive coffee plantations with automation that runs their coffee cherry picking and so forth. So we're really looking to the idea of sustainability in the way that we do business to help not only economically those coffee farmers, but also the regions themselves from an ecological point of view. We think it's a more sustainable way to do business. And the third concept is the idea of interconnectedness. And that idea really translates into the cup of coffee that you drink in the morning or during the day here in the United States. By taking that action and the choices you make about where you buy that coffee from, you are connected to ultimately the producer of those coffee beans in South America, in Africa, etc. When you choose to pay a little bit more for your coffee here, at least with Hermosa Coffee Roasters, that's going to translate directly into better prices for those coffee farmers in those places, those other parts of the world. You know, the coffee trade historically has been a pretty rough business, especially for the countries that have supplied the United States and Western Europe with their coffees. And so really what Hermosa Coffee Roasters wants to do is to try to turn that tide a little bit in a small way and start having relationships with those producers based on better values. And that's where the idea of interconnectedness comes from. So the final question really for you my investors, is how are we going to spend that $10,000 that we're asking for? $10,000 can be a lot of money to ask for, but I purposefully kept the amount at a range I felt was small enough to be attainable, but large enough to help get me started well enough so that I could then pay for my growth thereafter. So the $10,000 really is going to be spent on two things. About $2,000 of that will be spent on coffee roasting equipment. in order to get up and running and provide the beans, the fresh roasted beans to my customers. And the $8,000 then is really going to be about marketing and advertising and getting the word out about Hermosa Coffee Roasters to as many people as I can. Of course, again, starting locally here in the South Bay and then going to Los Angeles, regionally, and perhaps nationally after that. So please help us out if you can. We're not looking for a whole lot of money, but I believe that Hermosa Coffee Roasters has a fairly unique mission right now in the United States, and by choosing to buy your coffee from companies like Hermosa Coffee Roasters, and hopefully particularly from Hermosa Coffee Roasters, you will not only be enjoying better coffee because it'll be locally roasted and fresh, but you will also be contributing to a better place in terms of better relationships with the countries that supply us the coffee. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the coffee.